I'm Jacob Lane. These handsome gentlemen are Vincent Lococo and Keith Arutoff, aka producer Keith. And we got a lot to get into tonight here on the eve of the 12th annual Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans, Louisville, Toledo, tomorrow in the middle of the afternoon. Stop what you're doing. Make sure that you write this down, put it in a note app on your phone, ask Siri to make a calendar invite, remind you tomorrow to get out to main event on Blake and Baker Parkway. Tomorrow afternoon, excuse me. You can hang out till the evening. I'm sure Vince will still be there in the Star Wars VR, but get out there, join Keith and Vince and the whole state of Louisville crew as we watch the bowl game. And these guys will be live streaming, doing the watch along like we've done throughout the season. But in the halftime, meantime, get over there, play some games, bowl. The bar is fantastic. Get you some food. It's going to be a damn good time. So come out and join us. Coverage starts tomorrow about 1:30-ish with the game, I believe, kicking off at 2. I've seen some people say 2:30. I've seen some say 2. Do we know the official kickoff time of this game?
I thought it was 2:30.
I will pull it up.
But they give you their coverage time, and that's when I never know. Like, is it 30 minutes of three dudes that I don't really want to listen to talk football, or is it we start right at 2:05? Let's go.
Now you're getting down to the weeds. I don't know that. If I see a time, I expect that to be the start time.
Yeah, well, not in ESPN's world. That's never how they've operated. It's the most frustrating thing. Keith, do you have the time?
Let's see. Google AI says 2 p.m. ESPN says 2 p.m. WLKY says kicks off at 2 p.m. So,
yeah, right. You know what? Vince on time for his watch along. Great job,
when it comes to tuning into a game, I always say better early than late because you don't want to miss a moment. Same with our broadcast. You don't want to miss a moment hanging out with me and Vince. Come on.
We're going to have the bean counter. How many cans of beans can Keith eat throughout the broadcast? Not really. He wanted chicken nuggets. The best you'll get is beans, and you'll like it. So anyways, join us tomorrow over at Main Event. Going to be a damn good time. And for those that have just jumped in, thank you for doing so. This is from the Pink Seats podcast. You can find us anywhere that you get your podcast from, on YouTube at the State of Louisville YouTube channel. And of course, we want you to check out our friends 1912 Society over at the best Discord in Louisville right now. It is the spot to be right now with all the news that's happening left and right. When your head literally can't stay on a swivel quick enough, just keep your head buried in the 1912 Discord, and there will be all kinds of news and nuggets for every single sport that you can imagine. As I mentioned, subscribe to the show. We thank you for doing so. Let us know that you're here. We want you all to get involved. You can do so over on the YouTube side of things at the Pink Seats Party Deck. Let us know what you think of beans. What's your go-to bean recipe? Are you a fan of the bean texture? That's the kind of stuff we need in the comments tonight. The bean texture.
Is the bean a myth? Because I can't find it, so it must not be real.
Exactly. If you can find the bean, put in the comment where to find that. We got a lot to get into tonight. Some national topics. We'll start just kind of quickly around the horn here, and then we'll dive into the Jeff Brom conversation. It seems like if you refresh Twitter at this point, things are happening very quickly on the eve of the most important football game in the college football season, some are saying. So
this is the worst time of the year where like you get a Twitter notification and you're like, please don't be the one, please don't be the one, please don't be the one. And you open it and you're like, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Vince, you've got to really be sweating these notifications lately after the amount of bluster you had this offseason.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm over here pounding my chest like, no shot, 0.1%. Here we are.
Meanwhile, today you're like, tell me there's no chance, right? Like, just tell me, don't just tell me it's 0, right? Yeah, so we'll get into all of that today. But speaking of notifications at a national level, this offseason, Twitter, it's a cesspool of fantastic things. Like, I think we can all agree, like that's an oxymoron, a cesspool of fantastic things. Mm-hmm. It's the place to be for news, notes, humor, comedy, but you get duped quite often by these damn fake accounts that nowadays look as real as can be. And so when the notification today came across my phone from On3. Now, again, I have certain notifications turned on, so this shouldn't have surprised me that this was real. And I saw the news about Bobby Petrino. I opened my Twitter account and I said, there's no way this is right. This is the wrong app. I picked something wrong. I did something wrong. This is one of those fake Scott Hughes. And no, it was the official, like, several 100,000 follower On3 account informing me that the best college football duo that ever exists has come together. in Bobby Petrino, going to Chapel Hill to be the offensive coordinator for one Bill Belichick. I mean, come on, man. It doesn't get any better than this. Vince, what are your thoughts on this marriage?
Well, my initial thoughts go immediately like where I text you guys, the hypothetical that you've been talking about of Scott Satterfield eventually taking the role over at North Carolina, history having a weird way of repeating itself of them firing Belichick mid-year or something like that, and Petrino has to come in with the interim and eventually obviously gets fired as well, and who comes in to save the day?
Scott Satterfield once again.
So like
Bobby Petrino's cleanup.
For me, I don't know. I oddly think this is a duo that, yes, my initial text in the group message was they're probably going to kill each other, but logically sitting back, Bill being a defense guy and not wanting to mess with defense, Bobby being an offense guy, not wanting to mess with defense, they might get along well and they could, find some success. So it's not the worst hire. Coach Petrino, I mean, there's definitely worse you could make.
Yeah. These are two older gentlemen, maybe questionable choices made in their lives, who are going to match each other's freak when it comes to being psychopaths about football. I said the same thing in the group chat when it first got announced. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these guys might kill each other. Mm-hmm. They low-key might actually vibe together really well. I'm not going to rule it out that, like, oh, shit, North Carolina might be cooking something here.
It's just hilarious. It's just pure comedy to think of what a offensive meeting between Bill Belichick and Bobby Petrino would sound like. I saw some today suggest that a potential podcast could be magic between the two of them. So I just, I'm a big AI user, love to have it just help with some creative brainstorming. So I just asked, what would be the podcast name for Bill Belichick and Bobby Petrino? And here's just a couple of my favorites, okay? Cover Zero Accountability, Scheme, Scandals, and Side Pieces, The Motorcycle and the Model.
Okay.
This is why HR exists.
That's a
Throttle First
Think.
One. Throttle First, Think Later might be my go-to for those two. How about that? Those are the top
Throttle
5
first,
podcast names.
Think Later.
Yeah, if you got a podcast name for Bobby Petrino and Bill Belichick, drop that in the comments.
You mentioned the meetings, Jacob, and they both have that that like low tone, like squeaky, like it's got to be the weirdest. Like I feel like you almost need a microphone in front of both of them that they're talking in such a low tone sometimes in those meetings.
Well,
I don't know, but yeah, exactly.
Bobby, come on. Bell. That's just
why does Steven keep licking his lips at me? This is weird.
I just want the sabotage of Bill Belichick by Bobby Petrino, the story that's to come of that, of how he somehow flames out some history of Jordan Hudson that we don't know that creates this North Carolina scandal that ultimately gives him the head coach.
What if he steals her?
Back to the motorcycle we go.
I'm disappointed. I had a joke earlier where it was like, I can't tell if Jerry Falwell is going to be pissed or stoked watching Bill Belichick completely steal his gimmick.
All right, quickly, just around the world of college football, we'll talk about the coaching carousel more because really right now it's everyone is watching Michigan. We did see reports this week, not so great timing if you're, in the camp of 0.01%, that Notre Dame could potentially be a job that opens late with the Giants targeting Marcus Freeman. I'm just curious, Keith, you watch football a lot more than I do. Like, is he like really that good of a coach? I get it in that he's handsome, he knows ball, he's marketable. I mean, the guy he's brilliant when it comes to that side.
Take a time out on that one, Jacob. I saw a zoomed in picture of Marcus Freeman's hairline, and it used to be the hairline for me. I'm like, oh, this guy. I mean, it never moves. Heavy spray paint. That's all I'm saying.
He's got the Carlos Boozer from back in the day.
Or the Jalen Brown. Like, if he rubs up on a Notre Dame's player's jersey, it's going to leave a mark.
Have a big bald spot.
Go ahead.
There's no way he's that good of a coach, right? Like,
he's not a bad coach. And, he's running at a program that high talent floor, high talent ceiling. I don't know. He's a popular name. His agent obviously wants to get his name out there. He's a guy who has expressed interest in wanting to go to the pros, which is another reason why his name's one of those ones that constantly pops up. I don't know. You played 2 games against good competition this year and you lost both of them. So, like, maybe Jeff Brom's just that damn good, but you keep having these super close knife fight games with Louisville, who realistically, when it comes to the resources and assets available to you, you are on a completely another stratosphere. We should not be able to hang with you in these games. So I don't know. It's always tough once you get to like the highest of high levels to evaluate what coaches are really, really good, because in college, more times than not, talent disparities or talent advantages can cover up or really shine warts that are there or aren't there. So
Freeman's
Well,
an idiot if he does.
the
that.
comments are saying that you can still be handsome and have a bad hairline, courtesy of our friend Presley Martin. I would say Presley's hairline is fire.
I think he's
Just
fine.
be careful from the angle on the backside of that's where you have problems. You know.
Well,
And I
see,
think,
now-
they know that. They know that. That's how it goes. And Presley,
Now,
I would say like, I don't know. Maybe the spray paint option would work. I don't know.
I would argue
God.
handsome men have awareness of their hairline limitations and don't hesitate to come on home. Like Bomani Jones, he came on home early. He's a handsome dude. Jason Statham, handsome dude. He came on home very early in his career. Like,
There is something about being able to be bald and rock a beard. It is by far, in my opinion, the best look for a male
If this
athlete.
hairline
Hands
goes
down,
back an
close.
inch, as soon as it goes back an inch,
Yeah, and look, it's just the part of the beauty of us just every year becoming a little bit wiser. Our hairline
Right.
just sneaks a little bit further
but back
little
on
by
back on
little.
Marcus Freeman. As we're talking hairlines, he's a fool if he leaves. He's a fool. Like, quite frankly, you have it made at Notre Dame, especially with what they just put in for you or are getting ready to put in for you in the playoffs, where you just have to make it in the top 12 and you're in. I mean, what better scenario for you to succeed? They were about to put you in this year, and
Well-
quite frankly, y'all weren't very good.
well, he's an Ohio State guy, so you go to the NFL for a few years, even if it doesn't work out. Because I mean, if you are an NFL head coach, you're not getting the happy storybook ending almost 99 times out of 100.
Exactly.
You're gonna get fired. If he can hold on to NFL gigs until Day finally doesn't win a national championship at Ohio State and gets canned because their fan base is psychotic over there. Because I feel like Ohio State is the job he really, really wants.
You think
It's
so?
just, how can I kick the can down the road long enough to where I can be a realistic candidate for Ohio State to be willing to go get?
I think it's more, yes, yeah, he's a great situation at Notre Dame, but at the same time, why would you jump for the Giants? Like, I mean, you're walking into Scatabo coming off of a really serious ankle injury. Don't know if he's going to be the same player. Jackson Dart is getting more concussions than Tua did, Keith, at the height of his career. I mean, it's like you're not walking into the best situation. On top of New York media, would you really want to deal with as a Yankees fan, my expectations are World Series every year. Like, it's just not fun coaching in New York. And why would you not want to coach at the mecca of college football?
Spin Zone, you get to be a millionaire living in New York.
You're telling me New York looks better than South Bend, Indiana?
To a lot of people, yes. So, I mean, it's all about personal wants, personal interests. Like, if that's a particular challenge he wants to take on, I'm not going to blame him for being willing to do it, especially if presented the opportunity. Because
nope, I'm going to blame him if he takes if my head coach leaves because he decides to go to the freaking Giants. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed, and I'm going to wish nothing but losses on
spin
him.
zone. If Jackson Dart, Scattaboo, and Malik Neighbors are healthy, you're walking into possibly one of the best young cores in the NFL. So there is, but I'm with you. I think you stay at Notre Dame, and I think that's what we all are wanting for him to stay at Notre Dame. Just stay there, just for a couple more years. You're good. Don't let that job open. Hold on to it, man.
We just put a crybaby role in for you. Like, come on, man.
You all get the cry, and you're in commercials, man. What other freaking head coach in college football is in commercials outside of
Amazon documentary? They're on season 2, I think.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman is. I mean, he's
Speaking of
gotten
which-
coverage in a way head coaches just don't in college football. I mean,
you mentioned the documentary, Hulu, Jordan. Please work something out so we can get a UNC documentary next season, just to tie those two segments back together.
And the choir and the church said amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Facts. All right, let's jump ahead here. Let's talk college football coaching carousel. Every week now for about 3 weeks, we've had this same conversation. Insert a different school here. It's been Penn State. It's been now Michigan. If Notre Dame were to open, we've already seen people on Twitter and across the college football fandom world link Jeff Brom as a name that would fit perfectly at Notre Dame. Let's just start with where we are today, right? How many weeks has it been since Louisville played Kentucky? It's almost been 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, right? We're sitting at December 22nd. That game was November 30th. This all centers around, where is the paperwork? Josh, where is the paperwork? That's the question I think most fans have. What are we doing and what are we waiting for when it comes to an extension for Jeff Brom? Now, I get it. The season did not go the way that the team and everyone wanted. I understood and understand the investment that was made into the program this year, whatever roster dollar amount you want to say. They went after, at the time, a big fish in the portal with Miller Moss at quarterback. Again, debate that with whoever you want, but was one of the top available quarterbacks in the portal last year. They invested heavily in some of the pieces that they had on their roster, and Isaac Brown and Chris Bell and Colin Lacey, brought in Clev Lubin. They invested into the program. Now, is it where other programs did? No, not even close. But it was enough to go in an ACC and compete and win against the Miamis of the world, to win that conference championship and go on to the college football playoff. You do part of that. You beat Miami. You beat James Madison, 2 teams in the college football playoff. You should have been in a part of that conversation, and you weren't. So, okay, I can understand there's some trepidation about what are we as a program. But I think today, as we sit here and we see things heating up between Jeff Brom in Michigan and whether or not there's been an actual conversation between the two of them, only Jeff and Jeff's agents and some handful of people really know. And until we know that, it's hard to say what to really make of this. But I do think a lot of the conversation today, from what I've seen, you two have probably been online more than I have. And for our audience watching and commenting, please jump in here with what you all think. But it very much seems today that the shift in conversation has gone to Josh Hurd. And I think that it's very interesting where that's gone today and why and what's now coming out. And just to kind of summarize, it seems as if there is I don't want to say even an unwillingness, because I don't even know if that's right, but there's an intrepidation to invest in football the way that other programs are, right? Like SMU, like Keith, give me another random program that's just random, got NIL money. Indiana, great example.
Cal,
yeah, just teams out there that are investing in football. And for whatever reason, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an insider and know, but it certainly seems to come around. You hear Mike Rutherford make comments today. Not going to put out what, folks have been saying in the boards and other places that, but to summarize that, it seems like there is a lack of willingness to invest resources into this program, like a top 10, 15, 20 program in the country. And that's got to be concerning. And we've talked about this now for 3 years. We joke a lot with Keith because he blames basketball and he, blames everything else besides, where we are in the world of NIL today. And it's in part, it's true. It really is. But as we sit here today, and the Michigan job's now been open for several weeks, and Kenny Dillingham has said no, and it seems like they've turned away from Jed Fish, and it seems like they've, had others like Kalen DeBoer say no, and obviously Bob Chesney has gone to UCLA, and other big names have already kind of filled their roles, and the obvious choice seems to be Jeff Brom. So first question to you guys is, how concerned are you? And I don't even know if the question is how concerned are you in the thought of Michigan, but how concerned are you about the rhetoric of the investment willingness from the U of L side into football? And I don't know what that means. Like, obviously there's a cap and they can only have so much money in their NIL allotment, but it's kind of up to them how they divvy that up. And with 5 sports in the running to be top 25, top 30 teams in the country across all these sports, it seems like they just got a lot of things in their basket. I don't know how to say that.
A lot of eggs in their basket.
A lot of eggs in the basket. I don't know. A lot of beans in their basket. I don't know.
A lot of beans in your basket this week. Yeah. Go ahead, Keith.
It's a really unique situation that Louisville finds itself in because they're one of the few schools where, look, they are a basketball school. And I don't even necessarily care that we are investing in men's basketball because it's a revenue generating program. Now, it may be cold, it may be callous to say, but if you aren't getting the booster support to meet the demands of the football program, then you've got to allocate that money from rev share to remain competitive so that in the inevitable future where the power in college football keeps getting consolidating. I mean, shit, it's already at 2 leagues right now. We're just lucky that the Big 12 and ACC are kissing those 2 leagues' asses enough that they still include them. You have to make yourself a desirable partner if the worst is to come, if the ACC is to crumble and you are left standing awkwardly on the wall at the middle school dance looking for someone to dance with. You gotta have your hair slicked back. You gotta have those eyebrows trimmed up looking good. You have to have that tie on straight so that pretty girl invites you out to dance, you know? So, and to do that, you have to have a healthy, strong football program. Now, and I know a lot of the argument has been, well, Jeff doesn't deserve a bigger budget. We should have won the ACC than 2 of the last 3 years. And I don't necessarily think that's a fair argument to be having. Now, I'm also a football sicko, but I'd be arguing football needs more money, whether our coach's name was Jeff Brom, Jeff Fish, Jed Fish, John Smith, Abe Lincoln, whatever you want it to be. Football program needs money to succeed. And frankly, we haven't. Like, I've talked to people close to the situation, have it on good authority. Louisville was 12th in NIL football spending in the ACC this year. That's nearly bottom third of the league. Mm-hmm. The fact that Jeff Brom is the winningest coach in the ACC since he's joined the league. Now, I don't know if the playoff games count for that stat or not. Mario may have caught up, but that's a minor miracle in and of itself, given the funding or lack thereof the football program has gotten. And the fan base wants to take that next step. We have to treat the football program like a program that's being invested in, like it's ready to take the next step, not a program that the school is content with it being a also ran in the ACC. So maybe not necessarily for men's basketball, but there are other sports that we're being aggressive in. And look, it sucks because, like, I don't want to say those sports don't matter or that their fans don't matter. But when it comes to generating revenue for the school, football is the bell cow. Even at Louisville, it generates more revenue as a whole than basketball. Basketball is your number 2, and that's the brand Louisville has. You have to take care of that, men's basketball at least. After that, man, boosters, you got to ask the boosters to help because, like, rev share only has so much, and we don't have the billionaire sugar daddies to subsidize a football program.
Right.
So,
we don't have the Texas Tech oil money where you can go spend $1 million on the best pitcher in the softball portal. You know, like, that's just not happening here. Like,
she pitched the whole tournament.
Yeah, bro, it's insane. And also, Texas Tech just continues to get 5-star receivers and 5-star point guards. Like, whatever they have, I want it. Like an oil sugar daddy, fine. Like, let's go find that. Let's go get a Saudi prince. I think that's the move here. I think that's the creative move missing. That's Vince's suggestion right there. Get a Saudi prince.
To just put a final tie and bow on this point, like, I was one of the biggest, hey, don't get Jeff Brom just because he went here, guys, when he was available after Satterfield left. So I would like to believe I'm one of the biggest Jeff Brom detractors in the Louisville fan base. When it comes to expectations versus investment, even as one of the biggest detractors, I think he's done a fantastic job thus far. Now, that's not me saying he hasn't made coaching decisions or lack thereof with clock management that have been mind-boggling and maddening. If we do end up getting that investment, getting that funding from rev share, or if we're able to bring a new booster into the fold to help the football program out, get the funding they need, now I think we can justifiably ramp those expectations up if we're starting to treat this football program like a serious football program. So you can have, if we get the money and we get to keep Jeff, fantastic.
Right.
Now it's time to go. Let's stop bullshit coach indecisions where we can't get the ball into scoring position from the 50-yard line with 2 minutes left to cost us games against teams like Clemson. So
it just seems like the last 3 years are all the proof that you need that if you invest in the program the way that it should be, like if that 12th in the conference is true, look at what you've done in the first 3 years. You went to the ACC title with Jack Plummer. Like, hello, that in itself is a bit of a miracle considering all things that year with that team, right? All the injuries you had. And then you go into year 2, and what do? You go out and you land a quarterback who now, at the time, of course, it's a different conversation, but now on the other side, Tyler Shuck was one of the best we've had since Lamar, maybe the best since Lamar. And look what he did, and look at where they ended up in the season. And then this year, this is the year, right? You go all in and you proverbially push your chips in the middle of the table, but it's only like half of them. You got the rest of them jammed into your pocket, and you've got your hands clutching it with all the might in the world. But you go all in and you fall short, and you start to ask yourself, is this just what it's going to be no matter how much money we put into it? Or what the logical person says is, look at how close you were. Look at how close you were. And look at where the shortfall was. It was investing in the wrong quarterback for the team. That's that was the move. The wrong quarterback for this team. Wrong move. And you paid a lot for it. And so maybe this year, get more money and just go out and be smarter. And maybe that's where Josh is like, I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if 8-4 is just what we're going to be all the time.
He needs to find a way to do that then. To brainstorm, do whatever you got to do.
Bro,
team
why are we
meeting
not-
with the athletic department.
Yeah.
Figure it the hell out, because
Why
we've
is
got the
Jurich
guy.
not on the payroll right now as a consultant for Josh Hurd?
What are we doing? We've got the guy that can take us to that next step. This is the guy we've always wanted. This is the guy everybody's
our
clamoring for.
guy. This
Exactly.
isn't Bill Smith from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. This is Jeff Brom.
And take
Pay
a look
the
in the
man
mirror.
his money.
Take a look in the mirror, Josh. I mean, there is a reason teams like universities like Michigan are knocking down the door for our head football coach. It's because they think with the right resources, he can go win a damn national championship for him. They wouldn't be asking him to come coach for no reason. So just provide him the resources, and he can do some magic here, and you'll see what can happen. I mean, what he was able to do with Jack and that team that won 10 games is incredible. And then obviously turning Tyler into what he was. And even this year, just being able to, yes, like he said, there were plenty of blunders, but being able to maintain the ship for it could have got rough there for a second this year. Yeah. It could have got really bad.
And the fact that we only have 2 guys as of right now opting out of the bowl game is such a testament to and the atmosphere that he's built in that locker room, and only 2 guys that have declared for the portal. Now we might see that number grow, and one of those guys is going into his last year, or I think he has 2 years of eligibility somehow because of an injury waiver. So just trying to land a spot. So it's not like guys are trying to flock out of this program.
I would have loved to have seen Selah stay to play in this bowl game. I know that's a little off topic, but like with Renee Conga sitting out and just how they give guys opportunities in the bowl game, like everyone that transfers, unless you are in the middle of some kind, and we don't know everyone's situation, but unless it's just like a mentally hard situation or you're not going to play, why not try to get the film for the bowl game? And I think that's why so many of these guys are going to play in this game, because all it takes is is Micah Rice getting an interception and then going into the portal, and obviously I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't want that to happen, but he makes his play and then he can go on and get a starting position at a smaller school or something. Like,
you just at Florida.
Never know.
And you can get a bigger bag at Louisville. Like if you get a chance to audition and it's like, oh, hey, I didn't think this kid was going to be ready. He looked really good in this game. Let's give him spring ball, see the chance. Now, I say that now that we shift to a one-time transfer window, but maybe we can roll with this kid, and maybe instead of going out and getting a superstar at a position, you just go and get a guy who can manage. Now, I will say, if Selah transfer and he's on the way out, that at least gives me a bit of optimism for Kendrick Gilbert, one of the guys coming in. Was ineligible. Right? He was ineligible for most of the year, transferring, and I don't know if it was lack of credits or what the deal was. I'm not going to speculate. But the semester is over. So theoretically, if it was an academics issue, like needing credits to become eligible, he should be eligible to play now. So we might finally get to see Kendrick Gilbert. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice little segment. Go ahead, Vince. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off if you got.
No, I mean, I had nothing really else to add. It's just it's nice to have everybody asking for your coach, but
Yeah.
go away. I'm tired
Stop.
of this.
Yeah.
This stress is just too much. And I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and blame Jeff if he took any of those jobs at the same time. It's
Right.
frustrating, man.
Right,
It's
it really
frustrating.
is. You always want Louisville to be the end stop for somebody, or at least a 10-year stop.
And
a
you would
7,
think
8,
it would be
9-year
you.
stop.
You thought this would be the guy.
Right.
Like, okay, we're gonna.
Yeah.
And I'm not even gonna say like.
you-
I'm
it
still
just
of that
shows.
mind.
It just shows that there's levels to college football. There's Michigan and Louisville are not on the same playing field in terms of resources, in terms of popularity in their program, and their footprint and all of those things. And Jeff has been a Big Ten coach for a long time before coming to the ACC. He knows how to win that conference. And you mean to tell me he doesn't look at that job and say, I could win and win big at Michigan? And I think that's the thing is, he may not be the sexy hire for them, but if they were to hire you, you would understand why. And you would be able to say that guy's going to do well at that next stop. But for all the reasons we mentioned last week, I still just don't think Michigan is the job. I think that if it was Notre Dame, I think it would be a completely different story. And I guess we'll find out if we go through this again and how quick that ink dries on paper, if the paperwork does come Jeff's way from Josh Hurd with an extension. But it's going to get interesting. And I think this conversation is not going to go away. And Josh is going to continue to have to answer for, are you really going to invest in football, basketball, women's basketball, baseball, and volleyball, and all of the other sports? Louisville's good at women's lacrosse. Louisville is good at softball.
Swimming and
Louisville's good
diving.
at Swimming and diving. Louisville is great at a lot of sports. And I've been saying, to anyone who will talk NIL with me, that the worst thing that a program can do right now is be good at a lot of sports, because then you got a lot of people coming asking you for more roster money, which detracts from the revenue generators. And I hate to say that, right? Because I love softball pitchers getting $1 million. That's awesome. But I'm not going to lie, I don't want to be the school doing that. Like, I want to see that go to a quarterback or a point guard or, the head coach's fund. I don't care what it is. Because there's just levels to it.
Especially now that we're seeing, like, the ACC is taking daddy hacks to get significantly better at football quick.
I love it, man.
Clemson's not going to be on the mat forever. Florida State looks like they're punting on next season. They're not going to be on the mat forever.
Yeah.
Miami, they won a playoff game. Like, the U might be back, boys.
Yeah.
North Carolina, they're spinning. Virginia Tech, they just dumped a shit ton of money in their program.
That's the one, man.
SMU has a printer full of money at there. Cal Berkeley's activating their wealthy boosters to get that football program up and running. Georgia
Don't
Tech
gotta worry
in
about
the metro.
Stanford.
Georgia Tech got a metropolis full of super nerdy, wealthy engineers activating that full football program and keeping Brett Key. The ACC is only going to get a hell of a lot harder, and you need
We got
money
Papa
to
John.
compete.
Do a deal with the devil. Do a deal with the
Yeah,
devil.
dude, go
Say-
back to him and just say, hey, man.
Say it, Vince. just say it. Say it in solidarity with them.
No, no. You're crazy. I just think it's funny how like the whole Jeff to Notre Dame thing is kind of a basis off of like every Catholic grows up as a small part of a Notre Dame fan, like a small. I had a Notre Dame blanket as a child and like a Notre Dame poster. I feel like every Catholic grows up with a small piece of Notre Dame in their heart.
He had one of those. What's this? I should know this, but what's the sign? Play like a champion today. Isn't that what the sign
I
says?
have one.
They slap on
I have one.
Yeah, see, Jeff, on his way to 12 o'clock mass, slapped that just for just pure Catholic gains as he's going into mass to be closer to the Lord.
I thought it said quit if you don't get your way, but close enough.
I mean, come on now, Jeff leading the prayer and like after the games, I just like it seems like his natural fit. But you're right. If we'd be talking about that if he wasn't Trinity Catholic guy here in Louisville, I don't know. I don't know. But there's certain maybe that's what makes Scott Satterfield the perfect candidate for Liberty. He can go coach there, right? Be the face of that faith.
Oh man.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, that's enough on Jeff Brom. For now, he is the coach of Louisville. Tomorrow, he will be the coach of Louisville for the 12th annual. I'm going to read it this way every single time. I'm sorry I have to, unless I deleted it out of the sheet. I think I did. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl of Beans. Isn't that what it was?
Beans.
Bowl.
Quadruple
I
B.
deleted it out of here. Damn it. So let's get in. Let's talk about that. It does seem like there is some good news kind of on Twitter if you're the end of the GIF and eyeball thing. Like there's a lot of that right now. So
It's the worst. It's
it's
the worst
the
time of year
worst.
where you're scrolling Twitter, you see eyeballs, you're like, what's going on? You get a DM from a buddy, you're like, oh my God, I hope this isn't the one. Like it is the worst time of the year to have a social media.
yeah. All right. Well, let's turn our eyes to the football that will be played tomorrow, the last game of the year, the last time we will preview a game until spring. It is the 12th annual Boca Raton Beans of Bowls, Bowls of Beans tomorrow against Toledo. And I was going to say to that conversation about like teams that are no joke to like mess with that, one of the teams that's been down this year that was really good last year was Syracuse. And Syracuse is relevant in this conversation because Syracuse just hired Toledo's defensive coordinator. And when you look at this Toledo team and you look at their defensive stats, you look at it and you say, holy God, what have they been doing all year long? Because that is nuts. I mean, they are top 10 in nearly every statistical category across the defensive landscape, from total defense, rushing defense, passing yards allowed. And they have been a very competitive team this year. I believe what was the record 8-4 this year with losses to UK, Western Michigan, Bowling Green, and then Washington State. But in their wins this year, in their 8 wins, they allowed, listen to this, okay? Points allowed in those 8 wins: 3, 10, 3, 3, 9, and 3. This is a defense that can absolutely get after it. Now, they have taken a hit. They're going to have some opt-outs in this game defensively. 3 of their better defensive players. We'll talk about all of that. But this is a mid-major opponent. You think to yourself, this should be cakewalk. And maybe it will be. But for Louisville, they will walk in and play a team that's formidable on both sides of the ball, that's been competitive all year long, that has pitched a shutout, that's had a lot of points scored, and they've got some really nice pieces that have transferred in or come from different places. And despite no Jason Candle, they do have arguably the coach that we need to know more about. We've got to be asking more about Wiener. Bob Wiener, the head coach. Yes, please go for it.
Ask me about Bob Wiener.
There it is. Bob Wiener, the head coach of Toledo in the Bean Bowl. Will Wiener find the bean? That's the headline in this one throughout.
Bean is a myth.
But Louisville looks to be getting a little bit healthier. I just saw on Twitter that Mike Rutherford hinted and alluded to the fact that we may see Isaac Brown and Keyjuan Brown tomorrow in some capacity.
Please.
It's been quite some time since we've seen Isaac Brown. Let me see if I can quickly do this on the fly. It has been since the California game that it's been since the Virginia Tech game. Yes, that's where he got hurt. Virginia Tech did not return in that one. Did not play for the final 4 games of the year. Keyjuan Brown didn't play against Kentucky, I believe, was out there for it was Duke Watson against SMU. So it was out for SMU and Kentucky after that big Clemson game. So there is a big spark. You combine that with what we saw against Kentucky with Braxton Jennings and Sean Boykins. We'll see about Colin Lacey. I haven't seen that he's out. I haven't seen that he's in. I don't really know what's going on, but that's a guy who showed you before.
I assume no news is good news with that, with all that stuff.
Right. No bowl. There will be no injury report, I assume, for this one. So we will know nothing until this one is about to kick off the true Jeff Brom style. But if you get a little bit healthier at running back, obviously no Chris Bell. Defensively, we know no Renee Conga, no Wes Bailey on the defensive line. So you're counting on guys like Maurice Davis, Micah Carter, Jordan Garrad. You would say a guy like Selah Brown, but really more it's Jerry Lawson, some of those other pieces inside. So for Louisville, there's a lot at stake here. You want that win. You want to get to 9. And for Miller Moss, who by all accounts will start this game at quarterback, you win this game and you play well. And you're certainly never going to be a quarterback that fans think back to and say, man, I'd love to have Miller Moss back in the program. But I think he can really get some brownie points and finish with a very 100%. Respectable career tomorrow if he's able to go out there, put everything aside, and just play his best game.
Yeah, just go out there and have a good day, and you can honestly, the people will look back at when it's all said and done 5 years down the road, people, it won't be as big of a blip or a big deal in a lot of ways because hopefully Jeff Brom stayed and we've won a national championship by then.
That's right.
I mean, he did the hard part.
Josh.
A 9-win season, you beat the brakes off of Kentucky. You actually had, I'm not going to say a great game. You had a good game against Kentucky. Like, the specifics will eventually fade with time. I know we But like we have compared him to Jack Plummer an unfair amount of times this season. Even like Jack Plummer's performances, those will fade with time, so where you won't remember the specifics, and it'll be, oh yeah, we won 10 games. Kind of sucked the way that year ended, but all in all, it was a fun season. And I think that being a ceiling on his time at Louisville as a 1-year mercenary transfer quarterback. You know what? Missionary works too. He's spreading the good word of West Coast football to Vince Lococo.
Right. Affirming the good word of West Coast football.
So I think that at least at this point, that's a fine ceiling to strive for and to reach. So
and there's nothing better at the end of the game, seeing that picture like last year where Jeff's arm was around Harrison Bailey, and it was like, the accomplished look, like we did it, end of this. Yeah. It's just nothing better than ending your season on a high note. I mean,
that young man a bag.
Exactly. I've been in rooms where like you lose bowl games, and I've been in ones where you win. And if you win, you'd think you just won the national championship. And obviously, if you lose, it sucks because you're looking at a lot of guys that are never going to put the pads on again. You think in high school, whenever you have that last game, and you look at your buddies, and it's the last time, you guys grew up together, and last time you'll play the game with them, but it dwindles down even smaller in college because you're part of that 5%, whatever the percentage is of high school athletes that make it to Division I. So it dwindles down, and you've bled, you sweat, you've cried with these guys, and it sucks losing any bowl game. So I mean, you really want to go and end on a high note for these seniors and for us fan bases too.
Also, just 9 and 4 looks so much better than 8.
So much better.
It looks so much better. Jacob versus the mute button. Oh no!
Sorry. Trying to get the. We got an 8-year-old awake in here, trying to navigate that because we all know this microphone for some reason picks up every sound within the general 15 feet around me. But I will say, speaking of 8-year-olds, I'm on Twitter and we have made an 8-year-old cry tonight, guys.
Oh no!
I saw that.
I mean, my face normally does that.
Right. Yeah. Nobody accused us of ever having, TV looks. We're more radio guys, right? But dead serious, 7-year-old Ellie saw this and started crying because your friends are looking at me. Ellie, we're really sorry. We won't look at you anymore. We'll all look this way for the rest of the show.
It's your dad's fault for having us on the TV. I mean,
well, shout out to your dad for having us on the TV. Everyone could stand to be a little bit more like Dad Presley over here by having us on their TV. And you can subscribe right below with your remote by watching us on your TV, and you'll get more great content.
Check us out in this beautiful Kearns Corner digital studio.
That's right. And if you're,
they sent us to the beach. Look at this.
Yeah, man. I know. There's a dog behind us. I don't know how to change the layout on the fly here, but there's the Bush's Baked Beans dog behind us, and it's adorable with the helmets. It's great. But the sand, it's making me really want to go to Boca Raton. Really, 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 really sad that we couldn't deliver a can of beans to Boca, guys. I mean, it's disappointing. We could have gone for free
content.
I know. We don't give any secrets away in case we someday go back to the Boca Raton Bowl, but there was content to be had. So going back to this game, though, I mean, for Louisville, it really is go out there, take care of business. Don't underestimate the opponent, but this is a team that lost to Bowling Green. You handled them pretty easily this season. Now, I'm not saying this is where you beat a team and then they beat someone else. Yeah, transitive property, right? But that's how I look at
it. If it's two, what if it's two? What if it's Bowling Green? And they lost to Bowling Green and Kentucky. We got to believe in it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now, Spin Zone. I don't know about you all. Did you all watch the bowl game? Western Michigan just kicked the absolute dog piss out of Kennesaw.
I saw some clips. Yeah, I saw some clips.
They had a rock fight with Western Michigan. That was one of their losses, and they lost 14-13. They held that offense to 14 points. So
yeah, I mean, again, you see, if you're a sicko like Keith, this is no joke of a Toledo defense, and they're not bad offensively too. Again, I mentioned some of the transfers that come in. Keith, help me out. We all know that names are not my strength here. I'm going to go Chip Terranium just because I think that sounds cool, but we all know that's not right.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Tranium? Is that right? Did I get that?
I think it's Tranum or Tranum,
okay.
But
now,
he didn't.
I spelled that right for sure.
You did. Originally, I think he went to Georgia, transferred to Kentucky, didn't see a lot of playing time there.
I think
and
he's
found
at
his way
Ohio
to
State,
Toledo.
if I'm not mistaken.
Ohio
I
State, that's what it
Ohio
was.
State. Yeah.
One of those
sorry.
red schools that has a lot of money.
Yeah, but look, there's been reports today. I've seen some folks talking about Louisville's pissed off because there were some L's down going on from the other side of things. I'm going to guess that's the leader of the L's down right there is the guy that was at UK last year that's now at Toledo getting the ball and doing pretty damn okay. Yeah.
What part of you thought that was a good idea? Like, I mean, like legitimately, like you have to realize who you are in this Toledo. No, I'm not gonna. I mean anything. You got to realize who you are. You're G5. You lost to Kentucky. You lost to Bowling Green. Big Bro's gonna come in here and do work and send you on packing back to Ohio.
It's potentially his last game. He's feeling himself. He wants to. Wants to stir the pot a little bit. Come on. Let's
stir the beans a little bit. He wants to stir the beans a little bit.
Stir the beans
you know
a
what?
little bit, man.
You know what happened to someone else who stirred the pot a little bit? Logan Paul.
Yeah. Oh,
I definitely didn't lose money on that fight.
I'll tell you what, boys. If we can hit Toledo in the mouth the way that he got hit in the mouth, I think we're gonna be okay. And I think that in this game, what you're gonna see, I think from Toledo, that they do have a backup quarterback in this one. Tucker Gleason was their starter throughout most of the year, you've got it in here. Was injured against CMU, did not play. Or was that the last game where he was injured?
Yeah,
I know
that was their last game where he got hurt.
Yeah, so Caleb Osborne stepped in, was the leading passer in that one.
That kid's good. Was
Yeah,
3-star kid
man.
out of high school. Had offer to go to Syracuse, but went to Toledo because I guess the pitch was you can get on the field here because I think he played in 6 games this season. Big kid can scoot. Pretty good arm. He's just a true freshman, so the kid's indecisive. But that kid can play.
Yeah.
I like that kid's game a lot.
You've got a running quarterback, or at least a dual threat quarterback, and then you've got a duo of running backs in Trip Trananium. We're going to call him something different every time at this point. And then Kenji Christian. We're gonna no idea if we're getting any of these right, man. This is bad.
They're right. They're right. I was scrubbing through the rock.
No, I don't doubt that they're wrong.
I did.
I'm not announcing them and saying them correctly.
This came across my mind. I was like, I wonder if I could throw a random name in there.
And you could.
Like how they did Gronk like that, where they asked Gronk about a tight end that wasn't real. I was like, I wonder if I could throw somebody random in here for Jacob, but I didn't.
Yeah, you could.
He also thought Emeka Abuka was Emeka Big Boo. So let's be
nobody ever accused me of getting names correctly, but they've got some running backs that can. That's right. It gets worse. I promise you, that's not the worst one. But you've got 2 running backs that you can give the ball to, and you feel comfortable that you can stay ahead of the sticks and that you can continue to move the ball. And then when you've got a guy like Caleb Osborne, you want to set him up to be able to keep Louisville on their toes, to where they have to expect the run and the pass. And I think this season, against some of these running quarterbacks, we saw how vulnerable Louisville can be. And when you have arguably your top defensive lineman, interior lineman is out, your top one of your top edge rushers, defensive ends is out, then your defense now has got 2 guys that normally aren't out there as many snaps, trying to communicate, trying to make sure ahead of time that they're checking their what they see from him and what he's doing, and when they're bringing motion and all these things. And so it presents certainly some challenges. And while Toledo lost a lot of their staff, not many of them, I believe, Keith, have come on the offensive side. Most of the staff that followed Jason Candle to UConn was on the defensive side of the ball. So I think you're going to see them really try to emulate what they've done throughout the year, but with more emphasis on the ability from Osborne to run the football when needed. And I think that's going to be a massive matchup. They also have a wide receiver here. We're going to go.
Kid.
Yeah,
Junior Vandeross.
Vandeross.
The third.
I am shocked that kid. I'm shocked that kid didn't end up at a P4 roster. That kid is probably the second best slot receiver we're going to play. Like, I think this kid's better than DeJesus at Cal.
Oh,
it's
God.
just
Oh, God.
Don't like that, Keith.
Is Bob Wiener able to scheme him open the way Cal was
Bob
able
Wiener
to
go
get
deep?
DeJesus open?
Do you think does Wiener go deep? I think that's the question we're all asking.
I mean, he's got what, 11 out of not Osborne. Gleason's 21.
Yeah.
21. I mean, that's It's pretty big. And the drop off when you look at their touchdown receptions is kind of everybody else is in like the 2-3 range. It's pretty weird.
Like the only reason I don't think that Toledo is just going to be completely one-dimensional, read option, bleed the clock offense. One of the only reasons is because Vander Ross is way too talented. Right. You've got to come up with creative ways to get the ball in this kid's hands. Right. He's too good to ignore. Like, this kid's a problem.
Yeah.
And now, look, Jacob, you mentioned the younger AJ Green, Micah Carter having to take a role since Wes Bailey is deciding not to play in the bowl game. Or is he hurt, or is he not? Is he deciding not to play?
He was banged. I believe he was banged up late in the season, but also he's a guy with freak size who will have a good pro day, have good physical
That's how
tests.
I was
you could play your way onto a draft board potentially.
Well, regardless, AJ Green, Micah Carter, they're going to have to keep contained on the edge, and they're both perfect size for that. They're two bigger, longer athletes. So just don't
Maurice
take
Davis too.
Maurice, just don't take the cheese. The cheese being the inside that could potentially be there from a tackle over kick setting or something like that. Because if you lose contain against this guy, that's how you start getting beat, and you're putting your linebackers in shitty positions.
Yeah, and the linebackers will be huge in this one. You should have the full group of guys ready to go. I know they kept Stanquan out of the UK game to preserve the red shirt. That's obviously not a part of this. I love that he will play in this game, presumably, as long as he's healthy. We don't know what's to come after this season. We've obviously seen how Louisville has handled injured players from a portal standpoint. We've watched Amari Johnson, Jared Dawson, some of these other guys get injured and move on. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens there, but should be active for this one. TJ Quinn will be in his last game as a Louisville Cardinal. Want to see him go out on top. I think he'll have a big game. But then TJ Capers, Caleb Perry, it's time for, hopefully get some snaps for Trent Carter, some of these other linebackers out there, Caleb Matlow. Like, let's start to see what the future looks like in doses. And I hope that those guys will step up to the plate. But I am telling you now, I wrote this down at the bottom of the sheet before Keith mentioned it, but my prediction, this is the Maurice Davis breakout game. I think he gets a sack, maybe a TFL or two. He's consistently kind of popped up on the stat sheet late in the season with tackles. And I'm like, I don't remember watching him. And I go back and then I'm like, oh, there he is. Like that, like I didn't see it at the time, but that's 97 out there. Like, that kid can play. And I think with Clev double team, they're going to go hard after Clev Lubin in this one, man. For Maurice Davis, for Micah Carter, whoever it is, somebody needs to show, guys, you don't need to go out and spend a bunch of money on a defensive end to take this spot. I got it.
I agree with. Go ahead, Keith. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm also curious about that matchup because I believe it's right tackle Stephen Gales. He's playing for Toledo in the bowl game, but he has announced his intent to hit the transfer portal. Maybe you're a little extra cautious out there to not hurt yourself if you know you're going to be a free agent here after 24 hours is up. Maybe you just try to cruise control, and if you give up a sack in a bowl game to a dude who's a PFF All-American. It's one bad rep.
He's a running quarterback. He should have avoided the sack. He's a running quarterback. That's not my problem. That's his problem. Go ahead, Vince. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I say it almost every year. We've been participating in bowl games that people have a way of stepping up. I mentioned Kane Pass and Devontae Pete and the Music City Bowl I was a part of. There was a linebacker too, another TJ Hull. That's a name.
Yeah, TJ Hull.
Had a phenomenal game in that Music City Bowl. And the bowl games, because it's like I mentioned, it's the last game for a lot of guys. They have a weird way of bringing out unique opportunities for seniors and people to make plays. So, I'm going to bank on this being a TJ Quinn day. I think that football gods are going to bless, in this day and age, a kid that's stuck it out for 5 years at one school. They're going to bless him with a day. They're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I promise.
Sorry, we're both laughing at the same thing. Go ahead, throw that up on the screen. The loser takes Penny Boone home. They claim it's the alumni tomorrow. If you lose, Penny Boone is yours.
That's mean.
That's a good one, Presley.
You think he's sitting there on the couch like what's his name from Dodgeball with the chips?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right at the end. Exactly.
I thought we buried the hatchet with him. Like, he kind of put a hand up and took some accountability last year. Come on, let's be nice to Penny Boone.
But in the bowl game
at this point,
you can go back every year and I would have to, this is a fun exercise. I would have to do it in a time that would make it good content, not just live on the air right now. But you could probably identify every year one guy who had that game, that moment, and maybe it's a couple of guys, and it looks a little different. Harrison Bailey last year at quarterback, obviously had the interception, but for the most part played pretty
Antonio
well.
Watts, I thought, had a
Yeah, that's what I was
great
gonna
game.
say. That was his coming out moment. That play the sack in the first half, and then he comes out in the second or in the final play on the 2-point conversion and swats it away. And that really sets him up for the year that he had this year to be a team captain. And so for a guy like TJ Capers, for a guy like on the defensive line, somebody like we mentioned, like AJ Green, somebody, Clev Lubin is obviously already kind of supplanted, but you could see guys step into what their role will be next year, with more opportunity with some of these guys, portaling or graduating. So let's turn our attention to the other side of the ball for Toledo. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that Toledo's defense is just absolutely stout in terms of what they've put on tape and how they've performed this year. No one has scored more than 28 points on Toledo this year, if I'm not mistaken. And in their games against, or in their conference wins this year, they allowed 3 points, 10 points, 3 points, 3 points, 9 points, and 3 points. Their defense was the number 2 ranked defense in the country. Their rushing defense was the number 8th ranked rushing defense, number 7 passing defense, number 4 scoring defense, top 10 in third down percentage, top 5 in red zone defense. They're not very great. They're not a great team. They're good, but not great at turning you over, and they are good, not great at getting after the quarterback. So really, they are just we're getting you 3 and out. Like you're getting a yard here, 3 yards here, and then you're on a 3rd and long, and it's just we're clocking in. It's too easy. But the wrinkle for them this game, as I mentioned, is their defensive coordinator, Vince. There's only one. This town's only big enough for one Vince, so he's got to get up out of here, right? We don't got time for that. Vince Cares, I believe is how you pronounce that. Off to Syracuse.
Vince Morrow's here too.
That's right. That's right. Well, yeah. So three's too big. We can only have 2 Vinces. But their DC heads off to Syracuse after putting up an incredible season. As I mentioned, a lot of the staff followed Jason Candle to UConn, and they will be without Malachi Davis, their top defensive end. They will be without Brandon Owls, their top safety and leader in interceptions. And then they will be without their linebacker. And this is a Boston College linebacker name if I have ever seen this. This guy is on the wrong team here. Chris Diapollonia, linebacker, 68 tackles this year. How about that?
Drafted 4th round by the Philadelphia Eagles. That sounds about right.
Right. So Toledo's got 3 impact guys. I believe their leader in tackles for loss and one of their top sack getters, and then their leading safety.
Right. You still have to worry about Martez Pointner, I believe is his name, who also is 5.5 sacks, I believe, on the year.
Yep.
Right there with their number 1 guy. So I think they tied at the end of the season.
They're looking
so,
for
that's going to be
also.
Yep, exactly. That's going to be the guy for sure that Miller's going to have to ID pre-snap quickly. Both the safeties are good safeties, have multiple interceptions on the year.
They're opportunistic. They'll jump up and get you. Like,
that's a good word.
To do a little bit of prep, like you go back and watch some of their games, and you try to find like their biggest opponents. And now, granted, it was with Calzada playing quarterback prior to advising Garrett to get his money up. And like when Calzada made bad throws, like those safeties were able to break on the ball, make plays, get intercepted. Right. I believe they scored a safety in that game, if I recall correctly. So you're able to get a safety against a P4 team. Like you're doing something right as a G5 school. So yeah, they're a team. Now I have no idea what they're going to do defensively just because of the mass exodus that you've had. During the season, they've run like a base 4-2-5 with they'll stand a guy up occasionally and move him to like a 3-3-5 type of look. So this is a team we can definitely run the ball against. Right.
What's worrisome with me is like the issues we've had with holding on to the ball, Keith. Right. Mm-hmm. There's a guy, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, who's 35 solo, 38 assisted, half a sack, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions. He's all over the field. Like, it's worrisome for me, pushing a pile, ball gets a little loosey-goosey, they punch it out, and you get a quick turnover. Like, it's just stuff like that. The opportunistic, it's a big word for me. It's the perfect way to describe them.
Yeah. And we'll have to account for that. You'll have guys obviously stepping in to play in spots that they have not really been in this year. And I think that's where you'll look to see Louisville take advantage of the safeties, look at Louisville to really try to get the ball on the side where, Malachi would be, Christie Papolino, wherever he would be at, like I just changed that into a pizza restaurant. That's what I just did. just Papolino's Pizza over here is what I just named him. But I do think that, obviously that's no means for Louisville to say, oh, we got this in the bag. They're without their top 3 defenders. It is what it is. In bowl games, we've seen how that goes and how guys step up and how they find their moment. And so for Louisville's offense, when you potentially do have a healthy Isaac Brown, and you don't just have to give him the ball, then you have potentially healthy Keyjuan Brown, and you don't just have to give him the ball. You have a healthy Braxton Jennings and a Sean Boykins. You can do a lot of things in this game. I think the big thing will come down to passing the ball. One, who's available? Is it Antonio Meeks? Is it Trayshawn Hurry? Is it Dakari Collins? Is it, is Colin Lacey out there? I think Lacey changes things for this offense. I actually kind of really liked the looks without Colin Lacey. Now, of course, I want Lacey out there, but I thought this year I just thought late after Pittsburgh really is the game you can pinpoint it. I just thought they started using Lacey completely the wrong way, and every time Lacey came in motion, you knew what he was doing, you knew where the ball was going. It was a screen here, a hit over the middle, an outside route to the sideline. Whereas I thought the game against UK, when they did throw the ball, I thought you saw some different things from Dakari and from Antonio Meeks and from Trayshawn Hurry. I liked it. So I like to see that synergy continue, throw the ball a little bit more, and obviously you can lean on the run game. It's hard to say more, but you can lean on it more because you just have more healthy backs who are even more talented. I don't think this is going to be a game where you see Isaac carry the ball more than 7-8 times. Same with Keyjuan, but who says Isaac can't break off a 70-yard run the first time he touches the ball? And just like that,
this is the team to
this
do it
is the
against.
Louisville
I
team.
mean,
Right,
like,
exactly.
because in all reality, we should have the better athletes than them. I mean, and in every aspect, we should have better ball players, and it should show in terms of Isaac Brown busting a 70-yard run.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely on the table.
Yeah, I would love to see it, or Keyjuan, whoever. I'm not going to discriminate. Whichever one of them wants to run.
Yeah, let Braxton.
Braxton, Sean Boykin, whoever wants to do it, I'm cool with that. I was trying to pull up a statistic here. There was one thing earlier I was looking at. Oh, time of possession. I saw a note in here about that being kind of a key for the game, and I don't know if that was carryover from last show, but I did find it interesting. I was looking at Toledo and just kind of like how their offense moves. They are 61st in the nation in time of possession. So, I don't really know what to make of that. Like, I don't know if they're going to be, I don't think they're going to be a team that comes in here and goes no huddle, but they also have a running quarterback, and maybe they do go no huddle. I mean, we've seen success against Louisville getting to the line quick.
Being a G5 stepping up, I would want to go no huddle. I'd want to press. I just because Louisville won't be able to sub, and the look that you're getting out of the defense, I can say, okay, they're in a nickel right here. Where are my nickel beaters? Let's hone in on these on the script, and let's keep running until we obviously stop the possession and we can sub.
The issue is, though, that you have a true freshman quarterback, so is he going to be able to make those reads?
Yeah.
I go the complete opposite direction. Like, if you're out-talented in a matchup, you want to shrink the game, make it as short as possible.
Yeah.
So take your time.
I was thinking more get it on your defense. If you can get it in the defense's hands and let this – if your defense is better than the offense, let the defense kind of take care of it. I see
both sides of it. I think for this game, I think you're gonna have to go faster. I think you're gonna have to lean more on the passing game if you're Toledo, because I just think Louisville's gonna come in here and shut the run down. Like, that's just gonna be, now, not saying they're gonna go all in on shutting the run down, but when you look at this team with the two guys that have been able to handle the ball, and then with the quarterback who's a freshman getting the start, first start of the season, I believe he's played, but first start of the season, and you're asking him to come out and lead an offense against Louisville. I think they're going to be able to take that run away and then force them to have to throw the ball. And now, don't get me wrong. Now, if they start running the Cal script, we're screwed because we saw how that works. But I think that's where the opportunity to attack. Right. I think that's where the opportunity to attack Louisville is.
If they run the Cal Berkeley script, they might have it dialed in.
Just throw it to the same guy 36 times and hope that, for the love of God, nobody covers him. And so I think that will make things interesting. But if I am Bob Wiener and you're asking me about my Wiener and what we're going to do on offense, we're going to go as fast as we can.
You want your wiener going as fast as you
It's a
can.
good thing. It's a
Get
good
in and out
thing
of there,
you
man.
can't do coaches. You don't do coaches questions, Jacob, because you
Coach
definitely.
Can you imagine if they sent me to the press conference, everything would just be an innuendo? Like, Coach Wiener, you all were really trying to get deep, but it was a lot of short game. Felt like you guys were kind of falling out, trying to get back in there, slipping out. Just walk me through that.
Your team seemed
Coach
kind of
Wiener-
soft. Your team seemed kind of soft in the second half. Care to speak on that?
Coach Wiener, you seemed pretty adamant on pounding inside, despite running into a bit of resistance from the opposing side. What's your strategy going to be in the second half to try and overcome that?
Oh man,
Coach Wiener, talk about your penetration on the offensive side of things. Like, I mean, it's just endless what you could do with Coach Wiener's.
it's almost
name.
as bad
Coach
as
Wiener's
searching the beans GIF. The baked beans GIFs are just a cesspool of just grossness. I mean,
so it'll be interesting.
We're a
to see.
highbrow show here.
Yeah, we are,
Yeah,
but
right.
No shortage of jokes when Bob Wiener is your coach. Who did Toledo hire? Do we know the answer to that?
I don't think they've
I need to
made
go back and look
a official
Coach Doug's, I
hire.
think.
Yeah, that's for sure they are. Let's see. Toledo did make a hire. Oh, that's right. They hired Mike Jacobs. They went the FCS route and went to Mercer. And the best thing, this is one of my favorite.
That sounds like an automatic generated name for
Will
like college
Mike
football.
Jacobs from Mercer. But one of my favorite things about this staff, now this is my first year like really keeping up with the coaching carousel. You asked me who cares about this. Nobody does. I'm just curious myself. But Mike Jacobs coming from Mercer has hired 2 other FCS head coaches to be on his staff. You're talking about 3 head coaches joining his program. I think that's pretty cool, no matter what level you're at. I love seeing guys being able to come up from the FCS level and get an opportunity. But he won't get that opportunity this weekend because of big Coach Wiener. And they'll, obviously, I don't know where Coach Wiener's going next and where his journey is, but obviously he wants to put on a show as the coach and be able to say, I led Toledo to beat Louisville. Take with that what you will. I don't even know where I was going with that, but
I was just laughing at the Wiener jokes that could be made of him leaving.
yeah, Wiener out.
I don't know, man. It's like for me, this bowl game is I don't know. You should come out here and handle business very handedly.
I feel okay with it. The game that it kind of I don't want to say it gives me feelings of, because I sure hope not, but like what it could be is the Air Force game. Like if you're not careful, where it's just like, oh, are you kidding me? Like we're not doing this.
It sort of transitioned us perfectly into the key matchups to watch for the game. My biggest matchup was maybe those senior cards who have seen a thing or two so they can, finagle their way around, room checks. The Cards versus the Blue Martini, the hot spot in Boca Raton. Like, don't go out. Don't have too much fun on vacation tonight before the game. Like,
well, they'll be
locked
locked down tonight. They'll be locked down tonight. There ain't no getting out of. There's no getting out. They have cops on every floor. For like the night before the game, they must
That's
have
like the NBA bubble. You can't go get your food at the gate and get expelled from the bubble.
They
There's
can't drive up to Magic City.
They also don't want some crazy like. I just watched him, which was a crazy football movie.
That movie looks
nuts. Yeah, it was nuts. But there's a scene where there's a crazy fan in there that runs after the dude. It's like, I mean, that's a real thing. There could be some crazy Louisville fans out there.
Any other predictions or matchups to watch, Keith? I mean, obviously we've talked about that. We've talked about Isaac Brown and the leading tackler at the linebacker spot for Toledo being out, the defensive end from Toledo being out. So obviously there's a lot more eyes there on their other edge rushers for Louisville. Again, we mentioned with Alls, the safety, or Alls being out. I don't know much about their corners, but you would like to see Louisville be able to scheme up Trayshawn Hurry and Dakari Collins to feast. And then, you sprinkle in the tight end a little bit, get Jaleel Skinner involved. There's not anyone on this field that can cover Jaleel Skinner. I can promise you that. It's just a matter of can he block, and then can he get involved in the passing game. We saw against UK that big play. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And then, take advantage of that run game. If you're Miller Moss, don't do too much. This isn't the game where you got to throw a pick falling down to save things. You don't have
For
to
the
try
final
to.
time this year, man. It's Miller versus Miller.
That's right. Is it Miller versus Midler Moss? I deleted it out of the notes, but you best believe I got a good chuckle out of that being in our footer of the notes for the 9th week in a row. Yeah, Midler missed.
Another one to watch, Jacob, is, can AJ Green, can Micah Carter, can they step up in a big role to support Clev on the opposite side, missing Wes Bailey? Now, they've done a good job in, different roles throughout the season, but can you step up and be that main guy when the opportunity is given? That's definitely going to be one to watch for. Another one is Jeff versus the outside noise, and the other staff members versus outside noise, because we just had Kentucky try and steal our corners coach. We just had Kentucky take Pete Nocta. So the big phrase that they love to say is keep the outside noise out of the building. And with all these rumblings of your coach potentially going to Michigan, the Penn State rumblings that were happening earlier, how much of that has seeped into the preparation?
Yeah, all those are very realistic things to have to watch out for, especially when you're. I'm glad this game is in Boca Raton and not in somewhere in the middle of Maryland or Virginia, just where it's not fun weather and you have to go out there and play this game against Toledo. I think for this one, Louisville will be in the right space mentally, and I think that matters a lot.
I hope he'll be. He looks like he's in the right space mentally. Did you see him in his baked beans Hawaiian shirt?
Oh, he looked great. Look, compared to last year when Jeff got off the plane and had to put the sombrero on and then do the dance, the like Latin salsa dance. I've never seen that man look so uncomfortable in my entire life. And that's after press conferences after losses, media availabilities, commercials. Jeff seems like a little bit of like an awkward dude.
Let's talk about how comfortable he looked. Him and Brady looked standing next to the Howard Schnellenberger.
Yeah, man.
That's what's giving me faith that he ain't going anywhere. You saw him shirt tucked in.
Here's what I'll do. If Jeff signs,
don't make me feel bad about this. This is my moment, Jacob.
If Jeff signs that extension, guys, you see this big white wall right here? I'll blow up that picture of Jeff and Brady, and we'll put it right here on the wall, and it can just be seen for the days to come, man.
Taylor's going to be like, why?
You should have saw the side eye I just got. She already is like, nah, some dude named Howard, and I'm good. Babe, collision course. The only variable is time, okay? Time is the only variable.
It's like the process. As long as there's one person on there from the Joel Embiid era, then the process is still a thing.
That's right. Well, let's move into predictions on this one. We've talked a lot about the matchups.
Since you drafted the notes, Mr. Lane.
Okay, great. Well, let's get into that. So predictions are really interesting tonight because if you've been watching our show since week 1, there's been a battle, right? We've been predicting every single game, and you know how things turned out last year. And this year, Keith went from worst to first, locked things up, has been just able to coast. No worries about predictions being right. And Vince was down a game, came back, found his way into the tie for second, and now
scratching, clawing.
Here we go. It's all winner takes all for all the marbles. The loser has the punishment that we have not decided what it is yet. And guys, here's the thing: we were talking about this before, and we need the folks on the YouTube chat over there to get in and let us know. But we need a tiebreaker. Like, there's got to be a something that no matter what, one of us is right and the other is wrong. We can't have does this person score a touchdown? Does this person do this? Because there's just too many variables where those things may not happen, and we cannot finish tied.
Now, as a neutral, I was going to say, as a neutral arbiter, and it's a way to incorporate our friends over at Main Event into the show and into this segment. It might not be tomorrow because I know have difficult, like Jacob has not been in the branding for the watch party because Jacob unfortunately has
the busiest time of the year
responsible and can't skip work.
I got like 6 or 7 hours of Facebook campaigns to set up tomorrow. But it's unreal, guys.
But we can set up an opportunity potentially to join our folks over at Main Event and have Vince and Jacob compete in either 1 or 3 potential feats of skill and dexterity.
Yeah, I would love a triathlon. Let's do it.
Or arcade games and have them
Dance Dance
determine
Revolution.
the winner between the two that way. A DDR,
Wants to
pop
see
a
me
shot,
tear
and
an
air
ACL.
hockey would
The
be
one
elite.
game I could tear an ACL in, Jacob's like, that one.
Yeah, we did have a recommendation from the chat here from our own Presley Meyer. And guys, I thought about this earlier. I don't even think this is remotely close to an option because of how easy Vince would win this. Like, I'm getting the can open and he's licking the inside of the can clean.
You're
Like,
going
that
to
is-
cook them. You're going to cook them.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
just
gotta-
going to eat them right out of the can to win.
with not even a spoon. You're like slurping the beans out of the can.
You're over here with a
type
pot
of
like,
eat.
you're already done?
Yeah. Can I get a can opener? I don't think I can pull this back. Like, yeah, right. So I don't think an eating competition is going to do anyone justice here. Now I'll just take the loss, and we can do it for the views and for the fun. But like, I think that would be the equivalent of I don't even know if I could think of anything off the top of my head. Like asking Vince to watch both of my kids for 12 hours. I think that just would be like a very obvious. Vince is going to lose. I'm going to win that battle. That's what we do. Vince eats cans with beans in them all the time, probably. Like, I don't think that's an issue for him. So let us know what you think. I do like the idea of some bowling, DDR, and air hockey. I think that's a great triathlon for.
Dude, you can't play that basketball game there, the like NBA Jam-esque game they have right next to the food court that Presley and I were playing. It's like designed for nobody to win. We went into like 5 overtimes. You just start hitting 3. They want you to continue this.
Boom, shakalaka.
Yeah, me and Presley were
He's
like,
on fire.
All right, so the line earlier was from DraftKings was 7.5. Louisville 7.5 point favorites. It has moved. Now we started the season with like DraftKings, FanDuel, and like MGM. I'll give you that one. ESPN Bet, and then as the year got on, these books that Keith finds are just like mybookie@thestreet.com. Like, I mean, it's just
It's
guy at the gas
online.
station that plays the slots.
it's because of prediction markets.
Yeah. What is no
similar-
big? I've never
Okay,
heard of
Jacob,
it.
you got a fair point now here. Keith's putting all these lines together from whoever, Joe Schmo here, Joe Schmo there, and all of a sudden he goes from worst to first.
Yeah, right.
Is this rigged?
Oh,
Is this rigged?
Are you
Yeah.
giving away your secret to how you won? Is you just moved the
I'm
line
trying
all
to
year
help
long?
the
This would
people
not be
find
the
the
first
best
time I'd
odds
ask for
possible.
somebody to check the ballots.
All right, so
I'm
what is the
simply-
line, Keith?
So it's a unique scenario because, and I'm gonna give it one last refresh. Yeah, the best line you can have for Louisville giving up 7.5 is minus 112 on Novik, which is a predictions market, not a sports book. That's how they can get around. And actually, we just got some movement. Real time, we just got movement. It's now up to 9.5 for Toledo.
On which
Novik.
book?
Novik,
okay.
minus 111. FanDuel, if you're more traditional, at minus 113. Whatever ESPN bet is becoming, whoever bought the Penn Sports book,
DraftKings.
it's the S or whatever it is. That's now minus 115. Fanatics is 115. So you're starting to see plus 9.5s for Toledo popping up in that acceptable minus 120 range. So
I'm thinking we're gonna just stick with our 7.5. I think.
So
this is too much.
roll a
math for me.
7.5. So it's either, I would say 8.5's a happy middle, but
Okay.
if you want to do 7.5 touchdown and a hook, or do you want to do
Let's
9
just do
point
8.5.
hook?
We'll go
Okay.
8.5. That's
Go
fair.
8.5. Okay.
It doesn't matter. I think that I could tell you this. It doesn't matter if that was 8.5 or 48.5. I think that you know where both of us were picking this game. So I don't think it really matters. Steve. To be quite honest with you, I'll go first. This is why we couldn't just pick the game because I'm sorry. I'm not taking Toledo plus 8.5. Like I thought about it. I tried and I thought through like how could it? I don't want to root for that. I don't care to have last place. Just like I'd rather be in last place and get a win than be in second place having picked Toledo to cover. I don't know. Feels weird. I'm going all in on the cards. 8.5, 9.5, 50.5, 70.5, Bob Wiener and a half. It doesn't matter. Cards by 90.
See, what separates you and I is I still pick that when it's like Ole Miss. Or it's Notre Dame. And that's how I end up on the bottom of the leaderboards.
So Presley says we should see who can open the 5 cans of beans the fastest. Vince gets to use a traditional can opener, and I get to use an automatic can opener.
He just wants to see me slam shit.
Yeah.
I was going to say Vince could fillet his hand moving too quick. I can see that.
Yeah, right, man.
Just put a bow on the segment since I have already safe and secured the win. I don't think the Cards can do it. I think you're distracted. Wait, hold on. Let me hide my shirt. Clip this out of context just to give the team some sort of bulletin board material. I don't think the team's motivated for the bowl game. They're distracted by all the noise going on around the coaching search. They're distracted by the transfer portal. I'm taking Wiener's Rockets plus 8.5.
Jesus. I'm going Cards for sure. God bless. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's
Pete, I believe
last
in you.
game.
Please come on the show.
Yes, right. It's the last game of the year. You want to send the seniors out on a high note. What better team to play than Toledo, in my opinion, a team that you can just really get a good beat down on. I feel really good about this, especially with the news of potentially Isaac Brown playing and Keyjuan playing potentially.
Some other potential good news.
Yeah. So
and
just get the deal done, Josh. I'm tired of all this. Tired of it. Get it done, Josh.
Take all the money from every sport and just give it to football.
If you need me to cut off a pinky to get more NIL money, I'll do it.
Tell you what, I have a Tyler Shuck NFL Rookie of the Year ticket that I didn't give up on when he wasn't named the starter. I'm still holding on to it. Few more weeks, if the Saints keep winning games, that could turn into a winner. If that hits, I'm in for a nice little payday. I'll throw some money to Louisville's way. I'll throw a little money that way.
I didn't buy a $75 cup at the stadium today for us not to have, or for that stadium this year for us not to have that NIL.
Right?
I mean, come on, man. Come on.
You just paid Miller's Park back all year long with those cups. That's all that was.
I paid Miller's parking tickets with that.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, that'll do it here from the Pink Seats podcast. Jacob Lane, Vince Lococo, producer Keith. Again, we encourage you to come out tomorrow in person at main event on Blake and Baker Parkway. 1:30 to about 5-ish, 6-ish, just depending on when the game wraps up and then how long we're, assuming we're competing. No matter what, we're competing in our triathlon. So I don't know, like we said, we don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but come out there, join us, drink some beer, eat some food, play some games, watch the Cards, take on Toledo.
Watch us beat that Wiener.
That's right. 12th annual Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans. It's going to be a Wiener beatdown, baby. Let's get in there, be loud, make a difference. And subscribe to the show from the Pink Seats podcast, anywhere you get your content from, your podcast from. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Follow the guys on Twitter. You can see the Twitter handles here. Was that a good one?
Wiener beat down in a bowl of beans.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
That's the episode title.
Beat the Wiener. All right, guys. We'll get out of here on that. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great time, and we'll see you tomorrow either at main event or join us on X. Oh my God, I just did the on X thing. I'm sorry. On Twitter. Got to wash my mouth out with soap now after that. And then, of course, on YouTube, get in there and interact with the guys. And, there's no telling who will be on the streams tomorrow. So check us out. We'll see you then. Until that, ladies and gentlemen.
Go Cards!